Hi, welcome to Mud Road Studio. This is Martin. Today I want to review this sketchbook, the Midori MD Cotton Notebook. The Midori MD Cotton Notebook comes in various sizes. This one is the F2 variant, which measures 19 centimeters by 24 centimeters. Cotton refers to the fact that the pages are 20% cotton, which lends the sketchbook pages a soft, smooth feel. The notebook comes with this paper sleeve, and there's a jacket made of a thin, waxy paper, similar to parchment paper. I think I'll be taping this jacket in place as it keeps slipping off, and I rather like the look and feel. Midori advertises the notebook for writing and drawing purposes, so I thought I'd test a few pages out using different media. My art is usually carefully planned out, and my drawings are slow, methodical affairs, but I want this notebook to be different. I just want to have fun with this one. So if my drawings appear sloppy or lacking, you know that's why. I'm just doodling and having fun. I used fountain pens on the first page, such as this London pen company, Christopher 15. I used 3 different inks: platinum carbon black, Schaefer script blue, and Coeco sunrise orange. The paper was very pleasant to write on, smooth, with a pleasant feedback. There was no feathering. And even though the pages feel very light and thin, there was no bleed through. You can, however, see the drawing on the other side. You could draw on this side, but it's not ideal. On the second page, I used a dip pen, this Tachikawa 240. The nib I used was a G nib. Also by Tachikawa. I used 2 different black inks. Rohrer and Klingner's Zeikentusch, pardon my pronunciation, and Winsor and Newton's India ink. The Rohrer and Klinger went on very thick. I had some flow issues with that ink, failing to get my lines thin enough, but the Winsor and Newton inks did well. I have to say I was very surprised by how well this paper handled the dip pen. I thought this light, thin paper would be torn, but far from it. Due to some clumsiness, I smudged some ink in the lower right corner. After it had dried, I used a Tombow sand eraser and scrubbed the smudge until the ink was gone. This seemingly delicate paper proved very strong and handled much abuse. Again, there was no feathering and no bleed through, which really surprised me. However, you can see the image on the reverse side. This is the area where I had scrubbed the page quite thoroughly with a sand eraser, and you can see a little bit of damage here if you look carefully, but the paper hasn't been perforated. On the third page, I used pencil. This Mitsubishi hi-uni pencil in an HB grade. I guess it won't be a surprise if I say that the paper really handles pencil well. Turning the page, you can still see the image on the other side. Though not as strongly as on the inked pages. On the fourth page, I used some Sakura Micron pens of various sizes. Sakura Microns are disposable technical pens. They lay down very fine lines of pigmented ink. Again, there was no feathering and no bleed through. Again, you can see the image on the other side. I want to stress that you can still write or draw on both sides of all the pages tested so far. But yes, it's less than ideal. Lastly, I used ballpoint pens on this page. A couple of years ago, my wife bought me these as a stocking stuffer. She saw me looking at them with some fascination in a local store. The reason they had my attention was, yeah, they're cool lightsabers, but I was really trying to figure out if this lightsaber section was actually loaded with ink. Wouldn't that be cool if it was? Of course it's not. These pens are made by Yoobi, Y-O-O-B-I, which is a well-known stationery company. I was somewhat surprised by the tough time that the paper had with these ballpoints. There was no feathering and no bleed through. But the opposite side of the page was misshapen by the impression of the ballpoint. I don't know if the impressions of the ballpoint are visible in this video, but they're pronounced. They definitely would make writing on the opposite side difficult. I'm enjoying using this notebook, and I think I'll develop my dip pen skills and pencil skills with some casual doodling. One more note, the pages are very light and delicate. And if you're like me and tend to move your book around a lot, I'm always shifting its position around on my table, you may wind up curling the edges as they bump against things, like what's happening here. This book does not like being handled roughly. Well, that's it for now, folks. Thanks for watching.